On June 3, 2025, the Dutch coalition government collapsed after the Party for Freedom, PVV, led by far-right politician Geert Wilders, abruptly withdrew its support. This came after escalating disputes over immigration and asylum policy. As a result, Prime Minister Dick Schoof, who had been appointed just a year earlier in 2024, announced the government's resignation. The collapse sends the country into a state of political uncertainty, with a caretaker government in place until new elections can be held, likely in autumn 2025. Why did it collapse? The tension that led to the collapse centered on immigration policy, particularly the handling of asylum seekers. Wilders and his PVV demanded a complete freeze on asylum applications, an immediate stop to the building of new refugee reception centers, tighter immigration controls and restrictions on family reunification for refugees. These demands clashed with the views of coalition partners, especially the new social contract (NSC) and the VVD People's Party for Freedom and Democracy. After weeks of negotiations and growing pressure, Wilders accused the other parties of stalling and walked out of the coalition, instantly breaking the government's majority. Who was in the coalition? The coalition government that collapsed was formed in July 2024 after months of post-election negotiations. It included Party for Freedom, PVV, far-right, led by Geert Wilders. People's Party for Freedom and Democracy, VVD, center-right, previously led by Mark Rutte. New Social Contract, NSC, a new centrist party led by Pieter Omtzigt. Farmer Citizen Movement, BBB, a populist rural party. This coalition was already considered fragile due to its ideological diversity, and many political analysts warned it would struggle to survive major policy disagreements. Immediate consequences. The coalition now controls only 51 of 150 seats in parliament, far below the majority threshold. PM Dick Schoof has announced he will stay on as a caretaker leader, managing day-to-day affairs without introducing new legislation or reforms. New elections are expected to be called soon, likely to be held in September or October 2025. International implications. The collapse comes just weeks before the Netherlands hosts a major NATO summit in The Hague, raising questions about how effectively the country can represent itself on security issues. European leaders are watching closely, especially given the rise of right-wing populism in other EU nations. There are also concerns about economic and immigration policy uncertainty, especially in the context of growing asylum requests and housing shortages. What happens next? 1. Caretaker government. PM Schoof will manage the country but will not push for new laws or major decisions. 2. Election campaigning. Political parties will begin preparing for what's expected to be a highly polarized election. 3. New coalition talks. After the election, coalition negotiations could again take months, and no clear majority is guaranteed. What are people saying? Geert Wilders. The Dutch people demand strict immigration controls. If we can't deliver on that, we should let them choose again. Pieter Omtzigt, NSC. Walking away from responsibility is not leadership. Public opinion. Mixed. Some support the hardline stance on immigration, while others fear the consequences of political instability.